Welcome to the channel. This is my review, more of my opinion of Starfleet Academy TV show. This is episode 5. And following the episode about the Klingon cadet, now we have the episode about the hollow person, whatever the hell the technology is, the fat kid, fat chick that everybody hates in real life, like reviews and everything. She's the most annoying person, but anyway, she starts off. It's all about her. There's a bunch of. They changed the CBS logo to like childish stick figures and whatever. She tells people what her name is. It's Sam, and there's some term for it. Stupid ass module or whatever. I think that's her name. But you find out that she comes from a race of phonetic or whatever beings they are, basically the same. It's a living hologram, and they sent her to find out more about humans because I guess years ago they had a relationship with the humans, and the humans basically took advantage of them, and they finally broke themselves free. So there we go. We got to have that shoved down our throat. Makes no sense why they would send her. Makes no sense what she does half the time. But then she determines she's an emissary. Nobody told her that that's what she is, but she determines that's what she's going to be, the emissary. And because they need a member berry to try to salvage the relationship with Star Trek fans for this show, they bring in Benjamin Sisko's name because he was an emissary too. Anyways, the beings tell her she's supposed to take some kind of goofy class, which makes zero sense, the name of the class and whatever it's supposed to be. So off she trundles to a room with one person in it who's a Cardassian and who's the teacher of this class. And this teacher says, well, that class is or no, she's going to take that class, and then she suddenly decides she's going to learn the mystery of Benjamin Sisko. And apparently there's a class on it, which is stupid because if you watch Deep Space Nine, you know what happened to Benjamin Sisko. He fought in the fire caves. You could say he's died, or he was taken away by the beings that ran the wormhole, the beings that have those orbs, and he's to act as an emissary. And he was created specifically to do that. So that's where Fat Chick thinks that they're so much alike, and she's going to solve the mystery. The teacher says, "Well, if you can solve that mystery, then you can teach the course because there is no mystery." So then she determines she's going to go find out more about Cisco. So she goes to like a museum, go to the museum. So the museum has a bunch of artifacts on little pedestals, and if you get touch one of them, you get the backstory, which is how the hell would this museum work if more than one person's in it? Because you'd hear, two people touch the things. Now you got audio for the two talking over top. Again, doesn't make any sense, but they do one thing right in the show, which is bring back the actor that played Jake Sisko, Benjamin Sisko's son, and he's just part of the exhibition. He just gives a canned response about how wonderful his dad was, that kind of stuff. Uh, this episode is the worst so far, to be honest. But Sam decides she needs to learn more about Cisco, so she jumps into a class for the Bajorans, which is, they were the planet that was close to the Deep Space Nine. And she's like, "Yeah, do you know anything about Benjamin Sisko? How about you? How about you?" And it's like, Jesus, they should have just kicked her ass out of there. Um, so after that, they decide that they're gonna have they have to go to a bar. There's a bar because they're back in at the schools docked in San Francisco. So there's a bar that Cisco went to and got into a fight. So they got to go to this bar. And then Caleb suddenly decides that, hey, I'm going to reprogram her. How the hell he would get to this interface that magically appears, how he would know how to program her is beyond me. But he programs so that she hears a bunch of music and a bunch of other and it's just like for weak, cheap laughs. Um, anyways, he puts it after like 10 seconds. He gives her the ability to get drunk, and she dials it up to 12, the equivalent of 12 drinks. So then she's just obnoxious at that point, just walking around screaming and dancing and whatever. And the other school, the military school, people show up, and of course, there's that teenage rivalry that they have. So suddenly, Fat Girl yells Cisco and attacks, knocks one of them down, and there's a fight. So, okay, whatever. Side element, you have Caleb and Betazoid chick finally kiss. So that's wow, would be terrific, whatever. Um, but again, why? What are they doing? What's the reason for this show? Why the episode? The funny part I saw somebody else point out is there's at one point in the museum, on one wall you see the lineage of Benjamin Sisko showing all the characters and whatever, and his son is not listed there. And if you watched Deep Space Nine, Sisko's wife was pregnant near the end of the show, and Sisko promised that he would return to his wife at some point. So I guess he never did, or whatever, because that's not included in any history. Maybe he snuck in the back door or whatever. But there's no son listed there. Jake's there, the original son, but the new baby, nope, not there. It's just, again, so many opportunities to make the episode good, and they made it bad. So, anyways, near the end, the teacher gives Jake apparently wrote a book that was unreleased, so the teacher has one of the only copies of it, and she's supposed to give it to somebody special because it's never going to be released. And so Sam goes and opens it up, and a bunch of sparkly lights come out. Of course, they do. Um, and somehow something that is Jake Sisko appears, and they talk about his dad, and he's got to make her feel good about herself. And at that point, the show is pretty much over. I'm not even mentioning the fact that there was one guy that couldn't metabolize potassium, so they feed him bananas and he pukes glitter. Jesus. Jesus, Jesus, Jesus. Anyways, so the teacher of the school reveals that she's Dax from Deep Space Nine because again they have to, try to attract Starfleet fans because they're not. They're fucking everything up. But anyways, that's a rough rundown of it. If I missed anything, you didn't miss anything. So that is the end of the episode. And again, it's no better. In fact, it's the dumbest, weakest episode so far. Okay.